All right. Hello, everyone. Again, nice to meet you. And my name is Kristina Deltsova. I'm Ukrainian, as I already said. Today I'm going to share some knowledge with you. I'm going to share some knowledge with you on psychosomatics. So my plan for today is to basically share the knowledge I have about psychosomatics, which is how you can live a happier and healthier life in general. And also to share my knowledge on emotional intelligence and how all of those things are related. Give you a bit of the basics on it. Maybe share some stories. And also, I also want to tell you, because there are people who are skeptic about it, and they say that it's all not working, and I'm going to tell you when it's not working, in particular. My own path, like I was studying different things because I was sick myself, like a lot. I was sick with, maybe as every child, with some chronic diseases, like sore throat, the chronic sore throat for like 4 times a year, every year. And then I had like gastritis, and which was also chronic. I went to the hospital. No one knew what should be done except for giving me some drugs from the pharmacy, right? So, and then when I was 12, I had cancer, and bone cancer. And I was operated, and in a year the cancer got back. And the doctors wanted to amputate my arm. And somehow we found a doctor who preserved my arm, but I have a disability. So this is my arm. It looks like that. I don't know, maybe you see me on the beach. I look a bit different. And it gives a little bit of disability in movement, but I'm able to enjoy my life as much as I can. So I was wondering, how do people actually get cancer? Because no one would tell me that. None of the doctors would tell me how does it happen that the body starts to have cancer. And I was going to some osteopathy, craniosacral, family constellations, even magic, and some kind of occult knowledge, Kabbalah. I'm just trying to remember everything I learned. I studied ancient tradition of Cossacks, which is spas or charakternictvo, which is very much similar to the Guanche tradition of Canary Islands, which is a lost knowledge as well. And then I finally found something which was about the diseases and how to be able to understand where they come from. So I found a psychosomatic school in Moscow, in Russia. I'm Ukrainian, and I studied that in Russia. You have to know it. Because there was no knowledge, and there was no school in Ukraine at that time, and I think we still don't have that education. So I found a school, I studied there. I studied in Moscow, Psychological Social University for Psychology, got a degree. Then I studied sexology, and basically, well, here I am, okay? My question to you, you came here for some reason. Could you share, in brief, what would be the thing you're looking for? Some kind of knowledge, or there is some kind of the things which are not making sense, or because depending on what you say, I'm going to continue. Okay? What about you?
Well, I don't have any specific expectations. I was working in this field, so I have also some knowledge in this. I just like to listen to speakers or get some insights, maybe get some other perspectives. Maybe learn something from it.
All right.
Not really something specific.
Okay, good. Thanks.
But maybe later I have something. Maybe later doing
Okay, good.
During the talk, maybe I have a question.
All right.
Or I don't know how is it going.
It's all right.
I have nothing at the moment.
I hope you have some insights. Hopefully. All right. How about you?
I'm a therapist myself, and I'm also very interested in mental health and psychology. So yeah, I saw your post, and I thought this is a nice thing to do because I also really like to hear other perspectives and stuff. So I'm very interested in that field in general.
What kind of therapy do you do?
Occupational therapy, but then psychiatrics and psychosomatics.
All right, nice.
Yeah, very
okay.
similar.
yeah. Very nice. I mean, maybe you share something with me as well. Okay. Good, good, nice. Yeah, thank you. All right. How about you?
I don't have any connection with psychosomatics, so I just came out of curiosity
Ah.
to learn, to see maybe something interesting.
All right. Okay. I hope I'll share something with you. Okay. Nice. Thank you. Okay.
Me, I found very interesting the connection between the mind and the body in general, and for the when we are sick, for example. And I have some knowledge, but not so much. So that's why I was just interested. What do you think, or what you can share? And also what I found in general in conversation, not with everyone, but like that when we think while we are sick, we think generally that it's something outside, no? Maybe for the weather, maybe for that, I don't know. And then like every time I also say this, and then every time, but I know that it's something from inside, that it can be emotional, I don't know. But that's really interesting, like to know the truth.
Good, good. Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, we blame ecology, weather, we blame, I don't know, Chernobyl. I mean, in Ukraine, we blame Chernobyl for anything,
Ah,
Yeah. Like, for example, cancer comes from Chernobyl. So, just for you to know, Yeah. Okay, yeah. I mean, I hope I will give you a bit of a deeper understanding on that. All right, nice. Okay. Hi, I'm Christina. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Sorry I'm late.
It's okay.
I came because Jenny have an interesting, like everyone here, I assume, a big interest in like introspection and going within. I did therapy for about, I think like 6 months or something, and then in the beginning of the year I stopped because my therapist was like, "Oh, you're good to go." And ever since I've been looking back on the kind of therapy that I did, which was, I think it was CBT, so talking therapy, and I realized as someone who kind of just kind of like detaches from their feelings by just using their mental a lot, I felt like that kind of therapy didn't really work so well for me. And so I saw today we were going to talk about health and emotional regulation. I was like, well, it doesn't hurt to just go and then, see what I get from that and see if I can somehow apply it in my own journey.
I see. All right. What's your name?
Cindy.
Cindy. Okay. And where are you from?
Born in Netherlands, but raised in Luxembourg.
Oh, okay. Because I'm asking because of your accent, because it's like very unique. All right. Okay. Thanks for sharing. All right. What kind of therapy did you do?
It was CBT, I think.
CBT.
Cognitive behavioral therapy.
Cognitive therapy.
Yeah, we're just speaking a lot.
I mean, that's what we normally do, but it depends.
That's all I remember. I mean, I don't remember exactly, but
Cognitive behavioral therapy.
It's cognitive behavioral. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Cognitive behavioral.
Yeah,
It's very popular nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah, we just talked, and I was like, actually, talking doesn't do. It helps, but I feel like I need to take a step further.
That's true.
Than that. So yeah.
All right. Okay. Thanks. All right.
So I share what everyone said. I'm very curious, and I've always been linked with the body and the mind. I've always read psychology books, even though I never studied psychology. And yeah, when I saw your post, I was like, well, maybe there's something I can learn because I'm very conscious about that we create our life basically with our mind or with our thoughts. So we create the life that we have. So sometimes I'm like, well, if I know that, why don't I apply it? Why sometimes I feel so sad or so, like not so good in some aspects of my life. So yeah, maybe I will learn some insights today to help with this.
Okay. Good. Thank you. All right. Oh, Christina.
Yes, I actually I have a problem with my
Skin.
skin. Yes.
Yeah.
Since I was a child, and in the childhood, my parents tried everything like cortisone, like creams, and it helps. But
Sinusoidal.
Right.
Roller coaster.
And I tried a lot of things, a lot of stuff, working with my mind, and actually I wanted to try something new because it comes back, and I want to understand why and how I can get it under control.
Yeah. Well, first thing, I mean, Christina is already on my psychosomatic course, which I have. It's in Russian language, unfortunately, yet. Yeah, you already have a bit of an image, right? Because actually, my course was a collaboration with a dermatovenerologist, which is a skin doctor. So, yeah. So, yeah. For the record, doctors collaborate with me, okay? I'm not just like a gypsy in the street. Like, doctors do collaborate with me. And actually, I'm giving them a very good explanation. Why? Because, well, the doctors are focused and they studied the medical school and the university, they studied the outcome, which is the disease. And this is the outcome. Psychosomatics is talking about the reason. It's like a different process. And when you studied for like 7 years, for 9 years, just the outcome, you're focused just on the outcome. So it's a bit difficult, you know, to go to another part and study basically the basics, the reason, how it appears. So the thing is, we all live our life every day, like you showed, sometimes like roller coaster, right? I mean, nowadays when things are changing, I mean, I went out of the country 2 days after the war started, for example. So things are changing really fast and sometimes we are just unable to process them emotionally. And that's why emotional intelligence is very much a topic nowadays, right? We all need a sane, let's call it psyche, okay? Psyche or brain or head or vision, right? So we have to be able to move forward living our life in the fullest. And like the knowledge I have basically helped me with that because I was, as I mentioned, also sick. And when I came to the knowledge, I was on hormones. I was taking hormones for a couple of years, wouldn't help. Then I started to do this therapy, stopped doing hormones, you know, my life changed. Here I am. So the whole idea of psychosomatics starts with the fact that your body is not harming you. It's not your enemy. It's not killing you. Even if it's an autoimmune disease and it looks like someone is killing you, which is your own body, in the reality, your body is not harming you. Your body is actually helping you. And it will sound strange because, well, why do I have, for example, skin problems, right? But the thing is that your body is helping you to live through the circumstances, the life, the way you perceive it. So from the very much scientific point of view, it will be whenever you, for example, wake up and you go in the street and there is something happening to you. I mean, every time something is happening to us, right? Now we have this meeting happening to us. And we constantly feel something. That is, we all have to understand. We constantly feel the feelings. It's not like I just felt sadness 5 minutes a day and then the rest of the day I didn't feel anything. I always feel. We are designed like that. We are human beings, okay? And of course, no one taught us that at school, at the university, even in our families, because they also didn't know. So, I'm having goosebumps now. So, we get out, for example, in the street, and there will be something happening to us. I don't know, like a rock will fall down next to us. We'll meet some old friend, or we'll meet a new person which we don't know, and that person is, for example, suspicious, or that person is stealing something from me, or the war started in my country. Anything happened. Some from what is actually psychosomatic, and the whole reason why we're here is to tell you this. When something happens to you, and it's unexpected, like a rock fell down, right? Unexpected and dramatic, because probably that rock could kill you, right? And also, you're isolated in this particular time, like you're alone, there is no one next to you, and you see that fallen rock, or someone told you something you didn't like, or whatever, like any kind of thing, right? You're isolated in your emotions, you're not sharing. You don't even know what you feel, all right? So all these 3 criteria match. And also, another thing would be a little bit of extra, this threatens your security. Like you don't feel secure in that particular moment. So when those 4 criteria match, then the biological program in your body starts, which we lately call as a disease. It depends on specific conflict, a specific reaction, a specific pattern in the body, a specific organ. It depends on the way you react. It depends on your emotional intelligence as well. Because if for me a rock would fall, I would react one way. If for you the rock will fall, you will react a different way. If someone will shout at me, I will react one way. All of you will react probably in a different way. It depends. It depends on your cultural environment. It depends on how you were raised. And it depends how you were used to treat your surroundings, let's say. So when those 4 criteria match, basically this is the time when your body gets into the disease. Again, you may say, all right, so as simple as that, so what is the reason of skin problems, cancer, blah, blah, blah. If we go deeper in the subject, and it will take us probably at least 2 or 3 hours, or the whole course I did, right? Then I'll be able to explain the whole, like why the specific disease, the specific organ, the specific part of the brain, the specific pattern. I am able to explain that. And for example, if I talk to someone and people say, well, like you say, I have skin problems, or like someone say I have asthma, or someone says I have cancer, or someone says I already understand the way this person perceives the life. It's very simple. Once you get it, then it's easy. And it's not like the person is bad or good or non-intelligent or intelligent. It's the way the person adapted to the life in general. So, yeah.
Sorry, would you be able to give some kind of example of what that looks like if someone said, I constantly have migraines, for example? I don't, but just like that.
Yeah, intellectual conflict.
Yeah. Sorry?
Intellectual conflict, plus the migraine is also storing water. So it will be another program, which is the kidney program. You had a lot of water, like you have this swollen body. The migraine means you have water inside as well. So it will be the security thing as well. So it would be 2 conflicts in the active phase, the intellectual conflict and the security thing. So I would work with the fear of whatever, like something related to. Yeah, that will be for the migraine. I will work with people who like to think a lot, like you say, okay, we talk a lot, but I want to step forward. People who overthink tend to avoid some difficult emotions, okay? Like it's a bit difficult to get in there because it's pain, okay? So you did get in the pain, you avoid the pain, and you overtalk it. So that's as simple as that. I'm trying to simplify it. I'm not trying to make it very scientific, let's say. So my first tip for you is we already understand if something happens to us, and every day things can happen to us, right? Like literally every day, especially nowadays. So when something happens to us and we're like, oh my God, something happened to me, especially if you have this thing, hi, come over. So if this happens to you, like you feel that fear that something is like, oh my God, first thing you have to do out of those 4 criteria is to get out of isolation. And local people are very good with that. Like I come from the country, well, nowadays we're a bit more open to each other. And especially Odessa people are very much open, like talkative, and we have our own humor, and southern people, you know. So the first tip for you, and that's the best thing you can do, local people are very good in that. Like, I don't know, maybe it happens to me only, but since I moved here, I see the local people may come over to me, may tell me the story of the day without knowing me, right? So like, I mean, I would sit in the restaurant, the person would like, haven't you seen? This just happened to me, this lady, she was like blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, good. So this is exactly what you should do to get out of isolation. Just as if something happened to you, just find another person next to you and just say, haven't you seen? This just happened to me. Oh my God, I felt so scared. Wow, this rock is just falling down. Just do it. It's the best way to prevent your disease in the future. Just the best way. Just get out of isolation. Don't be with your emotions alone. Just share it. If you have someone, I mean, if you have your therapist, amazing. If you have your closest family members, amazing. If you have your friends, call them. If you have your partner, share with your partner. Share with anyone. Okay? Don't be alone. We don't have to be alone. We're social. We are social. We're designed to be social. We are not designed to live alone. No. We die in isolation. COVID showed a lot, right? Like, we die in isolation. We have to talk, we have to communicate, we have to be together. That's how we are designed. So that would be the first thing to do. And then comes the hardest part. You have to express what you feel. Like, it will be very, very, I mean, it's the hardest part because, as I said, we are still learning the emotions, right? We're still learning what we feel and how we can name them. Like, so, for example, if I'm in, say, now I'm excited, a bit tired, what else? Concerned about the fact that I'm talking, a bit stressed, even scared, not even scared, but like more stressed on this control thing that I have to talk and I have to, you know, deliver the speech. Pretty much excited to meet all of you, really, like, because I love to talk to real people, you know, not on the internet, but real. Yeah, that's it. So, and that's what I just shared. So it would be good, even if, like, you have friends or family, you don't talk about weather, you don't talk about politics, you don't talk about things, you share how you are, how you feel. Even if it's not a common thing. In my family, it wasn't common. Me and my brother are the only people who are attending therapy. My whole family is sick. My grandma has cancer. She's on chemo for 3 years already. She's like, I mean, 3 years of chemo, okay? Like, it's a lot. I mean, I'm saying that she's like invincible for me. She's a great fighter. And I'm saying that it's just not a common thing in my family would be to share feelings before, but nowadays, since I started that, when I call them, I'm like, how are you, blah, blah, how I am, you know, it's a different language. It's just a different language. Just try it, okay? It's good for you. When people say, but the others, they don't speak my language, this is, you know, well, it's good for you. Just understand that. Like, as much as you share, the better you are. That's it. So the biggest part, I think that will probably shorten the therapeutical work. And actually, the method I invented now, which came out of my own experience, I am trying to reduce the work with a therapist. It doesn't mean you don't have to go to therapy at all, but I think that we shouldn't be intimate with a therapist and not intimate with our closest ones. You know what I mean? Like, we live our life, to say 24/7 with different people, not with a therapist. So the therapist is supposed to show you how to be intimate and open, right? And vulnerable as well, because we are vulnerable creatures, feeling creatures. And we have to be able to basically talk to those around us and be open to them. So my method is based on one very important principle, and it's sometimes a hard pill to swallow. I've had to swallow it myself as well. So the thing is that we normally think that if someone does wrong to us, it's a bad person. So we label the whole person as bad. Okay? But the thing is that to be able to live a healthier and happier life, we have to distinguish the person or the human being and the acts. Because I may be cruel to someone in the street if I'm in a bad mood. Does it make me a bad person forever? No. I may have done something and I may have not helped all of my clients because some would come and they probably need a different therapist. Or I may have not done something to someone who wanted something, had different expectations, right? I mean, we're people. We're not perfect. We're people, okay? And this idea of perfection, I think, should be abolished, like, for good, you know? Otherwise, we just treat each other too harsh. So, from my perspective, to be able to live a healthier and happier life, you have to distinguish a person and the act. So whenever there's something wrong about the acts, you're easily communicating to that person how do you feel about the acts. That will be easier for the other person as well to basically feel that it's not about them as a whole person, but about an act, or 2, or 5, or I don't know, 10 acts, or the repetitive acts, right? And then, I mean, for me, it's also, I don't know, a healthier way to accept people in general, you know? Yeah, so that would be the third, right? The third tip I'm sharing. And so what would be the best thing you can say? I feel, we already have the I feel thing, right? We have the thing, we go out of isolation, we don't get silent, we don't get isolated, we get out of isolation by sharing. Then we use the emotional language saying what I feel about the act. So when you do this, I feel this. So it's not about you in general, it's about this particular act. So your act made me feel this. And that, I think, soothes the communication a lot. I'm not saying that everyone is like extremely kind and open and there are no villains in the world. I'm not saying that, okay? People are different and we all have different tasks on the planet. But for us to be able to perceive ourselves a little bit more open-hearted, let's say, I would go this way. That would be the solution. And the last one would be why the therapy, because of course I'm doing the therapy, which is hypnotherapy. What I normally do, as I already said, this program starts when a specific thing happened to you. So I already go there where the thing started. We start from the very beginning. So you started, your body started to react this way when the disease came, or when you started to perceive things differently, or you just started to think of someone in a different way. You know, there is something changed in you, let's say. So my idea is to go to the root, so where it all started. Normally, if you come to me, if you have a disease or something, first thing I would ask you when has it started, like specific time. You may not remember the specific time, but your body does. This is the trick. The body knows everything, the body doesn't lie. We can lie. We are good liars. The whole society is based on lies. Sorry. Sorry to disappoint you, okay? Like we are trained to lie. I mean, ¿qué tal? Muy bien. Not always, right? Not always muy bien. I'm sorry, but no. But it's not so, I mean, it's just a polite way to say, but I mean, I would love us to say the truth to each other, you know? It's not always muy bien. So it would be good if I say, I feel this, I feel that, I feel this. It would be more open. Yeah, I would normally ask when it started. That's the best way to start the therapy. And then we go there and we find out what specifically happened in that particular moment. Believe me, you don't need to fall asleep to remember it. Some people ask me, do you put people asleep? No. You don't need that. Also, the fact that when I work with you, the coolest part is that you are awakened. You're able to feel yourself, what actually happened. Like the feelings you had, you were able to feel them in your body, and that gives you the learning that you basically didn't learn before. So once we finish, then you, let's say, restructure, your neuronal chains are restructuring, and in the future, you already know that new reaction pattern. So for example, if the rock is falling again, you're like, oh, cool. you know, so you're not like, oh my God, I'm going to die now, you know, like it will be different. Or you know that if the rock has fallen and you're scared, you just address someone, you say, oh my God, the rock has fallen, right? You get out of isolation. And you say, I was so scared. So it's legalized now to feel scared and to tell everyone that you are, okay? It's okay to be scared, by the way, but to share it. So the thing when this therapy I just mentioned, I do it in groups. I do it separate, like individual. I like groups. Why? Because if I work with one person, the other people are learning. Not just learning, but literally feeling. This is the coolest part about hypnotherapy. So basically, more or less, you may have something related. Like, for example, your story, maybe someone else's story is a bit the same. Like you had something which was almost the same, and you start to talk about it, and the rest are like, ooh, oh, I had this one. And then I work with you, and the rest are like, whew, feeling relieved. It's amazing. So why it may happen that, for example, you have skin issues, or you have cancer, or you have whatever, and it wouldn't work. Of course, first, if you're skeptic, of course it wouldn't work. But I was also skeptic when I came to this knowledge, you know, everyone is, it's okay. It's new, it's wow. But there is a thing which all psychologists know is a secondary profit thing, you know? In Russian it sounds, the Russian people understand. Мыши плакали, кололись, но продолжали есть кактус. Which means the mice were crying, stinging themselves, but they kept eating the cactus. Okay, so they didn't like it, but they kept doing it. So this is the thing about secondary profit. Sometimes you don't like it, it feels miserable, it feels horrible, it feels disgusting, but you keep doing it, and you don't know why. I mean, it's about addictions, it's about unhealthy relationship patterns, it's about staying in the same job you don't like, it's about anything. And it's about diseases as well. My coolest story, which I know, I saw myself. I mean, I know many, but this one is like for you to understand how it works. So there was this guy in the plane. I was flying from Peninsula to Lanzarote, I think, at the time. So there was this guy in the plane who was like asking the stewardess to come over. And then she came and she announced that, dear passengers, excuse me, we have a passenger who is allergic to nuts. So if you, for any chance, by any chance, have some nuts products with you, please do not take them out of your bag. Thank you. Okay. So, I mean, we understand it's an allergy. The guy can have an anaphylactic shock. It can be fatal, right? But the thing is, the guy just became a star of a plane. So we all know that there is a unique person with an allergy on nuts. And he's also, I'm not saying he's a bad person now, okay? But you have to understand what secondary profit means. So he's the star of the plane. We all know about him. Also, if I have nuts, and I love nuts for the record, okay? So I have nuts with me, and I want to eat them because it's a 3.5-hour flight, and I have my nuts with me. I'm not able to do it because the guy is controlling the plane, okay? So the guy is controlling the plane, and this is not the end yet. So when the carriage with the food comes over to him, remember, he's allergic to nuts, and he knows it, right? He knows he's a persona grata, you know, he's very a famous guy. So the carriage with food comes to him, and he says, do you have anything which doesn't contain nuts? And you may know that all of this food we buy says this small print, like it may contain gluten, nuts, and some other allergens. And the girls are like, we're so sorry, because it's everywhere, it's written everywhere, on the pasta, everywhere, all the packed food has it. And he's like, oh my God, how come you don't have anything without nuts? Because there are people with allergy on nuts. You should have something for the people who are allergic. I mean, it's Ryanair flight, come on, it's 15 euro flight, all right? So just, you know, so, I mean, it's good they have food. It's good, right? So the guy, like the stewardess were feeling guilty, ashamed, and apologizing for 10 minutes, and the guy kept shouting at them, like, blah, blah. It's not your fault, I understand, but he kept complaining. So he got all the attention on the plane twice. What I was explaining now, I'm not saying it's bad to have allergy on nuts. I'm not saying people who are sick are bad. But I just explained you that if that guy, because when I heard that he had allergy, I was like, I may offer him my business card, you know, here you go. Like, this is the guy, I'm going to help him right now. Even if he had an anaphylactic shock, I would be able to. So the guy is there and doing it for a second time, and I understand that if he loses his allergy, he will lose his uniqueness. Some people, when they're sick, they are trained to get attention through sicknesses. Like, okay, I'm talking about myself. It took me a while to work with that. Because when I was a child, my parents, my grandma would always look at me and I would only get attention from them only when I was sick. Because when I was jumping around a happy small child, no one cared, you know? I mean, the child is okay. We don't have to supervise the child. But when you're sick, everyone is next to you. So for me, like, I would say the thing about this biological program thing would be working, I don't know, half of the session, let's say. The rest would be working with secondary profits. Because sometimes they're so strong so that anything we worked on, like, okay, you will not get attention with this, okay, you're not unique without your allergy or things, the person still wants to keep it. And there's nothing wrong about it. I mean, look, the guy was the star of the plane. You know, there's nothing wrong. I mean, I didn't have nuts, so I didn't, you know, I didn't care. But in general, yeah, this may be the only reason why, let's say, you keep going to any kind of therapist like me or like you or to someone else, but the issue still persists, you know? Still comes back. I don't know, I tried everything. You really have to, and it took me as well some time to understand. You really have to understand that the diseases are not making you unique. They're making you suffer in real. So there are many other ways of attention. I mean, you can go to the stage, you can sing karaoke, you can just say, like, Mom or Father, I love you. Let me give you a hug, you know. Or you may say, let's go out for a trip, let's go hiking, you know. Or you can go to movies. There are many other ways to get attention. But I mean, from the surface, we all understand it. But when we go deeper, we have to work on that. Any questions, any doubts, concerns, anything?
I have a little question about that.
Again?
I have a little question.
Okay.
Like, when you are into this and you get sick, for example, for this reason, like, because unconsciously, I want more attention, to change this situation. Like, I'm able to change that situation in that moment that I'm sick, like, with change my thoughts and my mind, I can be good again, be healthy again.
Okay, look, let me give it a decent explanation. So first, it depends on what kind of sickness, because sometimes, like, for example, when I have fever, I'm not scared. Like, and I don't even use the thermometer. I know what kind of, like, I know when it's 37.2, I know it's 37.5. I feel the difference in the body. So when it's 38, 38.5, and last time when it was COVID, I told you yesterday, right? It was 40 something. I felt it because I really feel burning, like it's. So yeah, but again, if you have fever, sometimes it's just a restoration phase. You don't need to do anything. You just have to lie down and relax. So people who take antibiotics when they're scared, like, I don't do it, okay? And the only way I would be probably taking antibiotics would be like after operation or something, but like to prevent the fever, no. And this is the basics of the knowledge. So you have to understand whether it's the restoration phase, when the conflict here is already resolved. This is the deep knowledge of the psychosomatics, which I'm able to provide if we are all interested. Like maybe in the same place, but like then I'll be explaining and we'll be here for a couple of hours and I'll give you the whole explanation on that. So if it's a restoration phase, just lie down, enjoy, and then probably, of course, now someone will have, is able to take care of you, right? So you're sick, you're high feverish, someone has to make you tea, it's okay. But then, if it's like, I don't know, cancer, even the cancer has different patterns. Like mine was bone, it could be kidneys, breasts, whatever, like different patterns, different organs, it depends. But if you see that there is some kind of frequent pattern, like, I don't know, you get sick once a month, every month, right? Then you have to ask yourself, there's something happening, and it could be maybe not the attention, maybe there is the surroundings where you are not expressing yourself. So basically your body is carrying the part of the tension. So you're not expressing, I don't know, someone is treating you badly, right? And you're not saying, this makes me feel this. Basically, if you do that, maybe you will not get sick at all. Or it could be that you want to change something, move to another apartment, change your job. Many things, like some kind of change, right? There was some kind of decision you want to make. So once you make that decision, you'd have to be sick. You know, so it's very individual, subjective, but also depends on what kind of sickness we're talking about. And for the secondary profit, yeah, once you literally, like if you see it, that okay, I'm just getting attention from my closest ones by sicknesses, then you try to elaborate in new ways of attention through different ways, like let's go out together, let's have dinner, tell me about yourself, may I tell you about myself, you know, different ways, not just through, because this is, I mean, literally, many of us had the only form of intimacy like that. Like being intimate with our closest ones would be through sickness, you know, like you would be, I know they would be cuddling you, you know, telling you how good you were, you know, and things like that. So of course this should be changed, if you want, of course. I mean, like the guy with an allergy probably doesn't, you know. Yeah, any more questions? Uh-huh.
Maybe I have one, like maybe more personal. Since you talked about cancer, I always had this question in my mind that I could never solve. And my father had cancer when I was a baby, and he died from it. He had larynx cancer, and I was wondering, from your experience, what do you think it was from? So, what is connected? What
lungs?
part? Yeah, larynx, like.
Here.
Larynx.
Here,
Larynx?
here. Larynx. Here,
Yeah,
here.
throat.
Throat. Yeah. Okay. Did he smoke?
No.
Funny fact, right? People who don't smoke have cancer.
I'm like,
yeah.
From what I know, the things I didn't get the chance to meet him, so I was like, I don't know what he suffered from, you know, like, and nobody really told me, oh well, he was, let's say, depressed, he was doing this, or he was like a heavy drinker or heavy smoker. I was like, what happened to him?
Well, I mean, many things could, but it depends on what kind of relationship he had with with people. Like, what did he do in? Engineering. I mean, it could be like from. I'm not a gypsy, you know, who's like looking at this ball. The person is already there, you know. Like if normally we say, even for example, like I don't have cancer now here, so there is no problem. Like if I already removed it, like in the hospital, then we don't work with that because there is no problem anymore. You know what I mean? So normally if people would come to me with something, then we work because the problem, like it's there, right, in the body. I mean, well, I must say that from my, like, let's not dig deeper in the patterns because that would be, we call it the bite conflict, which means that there was some kind of situation he couldn't express. Let's put it aside like this, okay?
Yeah, I think from what I read, I think the psychosomatics has to do with the voice, with speaking up and saying, maybe expressing feelings.
I mean, it's all about feelings. Yeah, but like once you dig deeper in the subject, in the whole idea, then you understand which feelings, in which organs, which specific like situations provoke those feelings. That's more precise knowledge, let's say. And also is for me, this knowledge is not just to be a good therapist, it's to be able to understand people around you, to understand yourself, to be able to talk to your kids, to talk to your partner, to talk to your grandparents, parents, or anyone, you know, just to be able to understand people around. Yeah, it's not just to cure or whatever, you know. Yeah, okay. Welcome.
I have a question too. So you say that the diseases actually are born in our mind. So what do you think would be the healthy mindset then to stick to?
Adaptive.
You mentioned one thing is to talk about what's bothering you. So that's one thing you mentioned already. But is there anything else that we could be aware of?
Adaptive. Like, we should be adaptive. It doesn't mean tolerating. It means adaptive. Like, we should, like, the idea is, I don't know what a healthy brain is, to be honest. I think it's developed. And by developed, I mean that whatever things happen to you, you know when people say, just let go. This just let go thing comes when you express the feeling, express your need, which was unmet or met, and this is let go, okay? Then you're feeling free. But these two things are those we are still learning. Because we know when the person did something wrong. We know when we didn't react on things, yeah, kinda. But to be able to react and to be able to express and to be able to feel good after that, this is the task. So for me, it means adaptive mind. Like learning a new language, you know? Emotional language is basically a new foreign language. Like, yeah. So if we talk feelings now, it would be very short talk. No analysis, no facts, just feelings. Yeah?
I have a question actually related to feelings, because you say we are constantly feeling.
Yeah.
So what would be a way that if, for example, I'm someone who's very emotionally sensitive and I feel like I feel a lot based on my environment, how is that a way to, if the rock drops for somebody else, that I still have some kind of
Empathy.
separation actually towards that empathy?
You don't want to feel anyone else's feelings. That's your question, or?
No, to have some kind of like
Distance.
yeah, a bit of a distance, to not have so much of those feelings.
Yeah. So you want to have your own feelings and not to feel their feelings. Is that the question?
More or less.
Well, yeah. The more you learn your own feelings, I mean, the less you the more you distinguish in between. Because it's okay, you have, it's good to be empathetic, actually. Like, I would say it's bad to be psychopathic. I mean, it's good to be empathetic, actually, you know. It's not bad, those people are serving their purpose. But I think it's a bit a dull life. But empathetic is nice. I mean, you're able to understand people, you're able to feel them, they're able to share, you're able to share. It's, you know, social. So just learn yourself, like know thyself, you know, like dig yourself, like deeper in yourself. That would be my suggestion. Welcome. Okay, guys, my voice changed because we are already out of time, and I'm like got anxious in the end, as you may have seen, because we are limited, right? So, I mean, if you feel like having a proper theoretical thing, what I would explain, because my course is in Russian, you are not able to see it. So, if you feel like you're interested and you feel like we could gather and I would explain you more, I will just make some notes and show you how the things are happening. And also, if you think that there is something you have to work on, like diseases or emotional things which are stuck, so we can do it, it's possible. Just share, okay? Share with me what you think about. I mean, text me if there is some kind of request you have, or there is something you want to know, right, about the knowledge, and yeah, then we gather and we can do it. All right? Thank you.